Welcome to The Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancabano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And we're here at the beautiful Pilsner House and Beer Garden, located at 1422 Grand Street. You got to come over, have that iconic pretzel, have that iconic beer, have those iconic ribs, and just have a great time. And speaking about an iconic location in the city of Hoboken, because you can't miss it, it is our Hoboken homeless shelter, where many, many great things happen. And we're so honored to be here with Laura O'Brien, a board member at the Hoboken homeless shelter. Laura, how are you? Welcome.
Great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So I kind of told everybody what you do. You're a board member there, and we have to give a shout out right away to our good friend Mark Singleton.
Of course, yes.
Exactly. Who's the president of the board over at the shelter for many, many years. Mark, we love you. Yes. And we miss you. We hope to have you on the show very, very soon.
Yeah.
So Laura, talk about your involvement.
Yeah. So as you said, I'm a board member. I have been on the board since the fall of 2021. But before that, I have been an active volunteer there for over a decade.
Wow. Goodness gracious. And you know, one of the funny things that I brought up to Mark when he was on was that people seem to volunteer a lot during Thanksgiving.
Oh, yes.
And like, you know, and I think he brought up a stat, and correct me if I'm wrong here, where he had, I think, triple or quadruple the amount of volunteers compared to the people you guys were serving that day.
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah.
And obviously you need volunteers throughout the year.
Absolutely. And it is the season of giving, which is absolutely wonderful that we have so many people come out. And as you said, it is overwhelming, and you have more people that you know what to do with, which is just so heartfelt to us that we really appreciate the volunteers. But yes, we need volunteers all year round, every single day. Every meal served there. So lots of volunteering.
Exactly. There's just not homeless during Thanksgiving. They're there, you know,
Absolutely.
365.
Absolutely.
So, you know, let's talk about why you decided to volunteer.
Absolutely. So I've lived in Hoboken since 2009. And right when I moved here, I really wanted to be, involved in the community. And I really wanted to help out with the homeless population. So I found the Hoboken shelter right away. And I started volunteering there in the kitchen, helping to make meals, serve meals. And I just kept coming back. And I think because, as we said, in our community, it's so tight-knit and everyone just loves everyone, and you want to come back. They draw you in and you want to help. So I've just been going there. And then after time, you meet so many of the same people. Like you said, you get reoccurring people who come to volunteer. And then I met more staff members there. And then eventually I was asked to join the committee to help some of their events, one of them being the winter auction. And then from there, when a board seat became open, they asked me to join.
And you couldn't say no, right?
I couldn't. I love them too much. I was like, give me more.
Give me more. Exactly. And I have to give you, anybody who volunteers for the Hoboken homeless shelter a ton of credits. I mean, you guys are certainly the true heroes to go along with many heroes out there, whether those first aid responders and police and firemen and things like that. I appreciate your service to a very, very, very just cause. So.
Yes, absolutely. And I think it's so incredible that during the pandemic, the shelter never closed.
Right.
That they remained open. They were able to facilitate safely both the staff and the guests, and meals were served every day.
Exactly. And how many meals per day do you serve?
Oh my God, 300.
300 per day.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And that's 365 days, even during a pandemic. I mean, it's just, and you guys, in essence, were risking your health, to be there during the pandemic.
Absolutely. And I think it just goes to show what a strong need it is in this community and how important it is, and that there are such vulnerable people and they can't go without food or shelter. It's just a basic necessity.
Well, thank you again for that. Now let's talk about an event, because everybody loves events coming up, right? And that is, I believe, on December 14th.
Correct.
If I'm mistaken, it is your annual auction.
Yes.
And not only did they ask Laura to be on a board, now she's also the president of this auction coming up on Thursday the 14th, just a few short days away. Talk to us about what folks can expect, how they can get tickets, so on and so forth.
Absolutely. So as you said, Wednesday the 14th of December, so just a little bit away, that we are so excited because it's back in person for the first time for a few years. So we're so excited. And this year it's a hybrid event. So not only can you attend in person at Birch on Wednesday, December 14th for the live event, you can also go online and there'll be tons of items you can bid on for the multiple days leading up to the event. So at HobokenShelter.org, under the events section, you can learn more about bidding online, but also we're going to have a great time. And
where's it? I'm sorry.
Birch.
Birch. Yeah, yes. Sorry, you said that. Sorry about that. And my mistake. I said said Thursday the 14th. I meant to say Wednesday the 14th. And, I guess maybe some of the things that people can, place a bid on if you want to give some examples.
Absolutely. We have so many great prizes. I mean, it is, again, overwhelming to our sponsors and our donors that they give so generously. And we have so many amazing prizes to offer within Hoboken, but also places in New Jersey. So there's plenty of restaurants around town. There's fitness studios that we have some amazing baskets that we put together for tricky tray items. And then we have some really amazing live auction prizes that will be happening. We have 2 signed guitars from John Bon Jovi.
No way.
Mm-hmm.
Jersey's own, right?
Exactly.
I was gonna say.
Exactly.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we have tickets to Hamilton. We have a local artist, Tim Daly, who is giving some artwork to us. And we have a cruise from City Experiences.
I gotta start calling them about their connections here. Tickets for Hamilton to John Bon Jovi. I mean, guitars. These are like prized possessions that anybody would want. What are you waiting for? Go on their website, buy tickets, start bidding.
Absolutely.
And now, will the winners be announced? I'm assuming that night or shortly thereafter.
Yeah. So it's a tiered event. So online, if you are bidding for an online item, you have multiple days leading up to the 14th to bid. So obviously, if you get outbid, you have to bid again. And so you want to get more money. And so if you want that prize, keep bidding. And you will be notified if you were outbid, so you know to go into the website again and bid again. And then when we're at the event, you'll see baskets, there's tricky trays. I think most people know how that works. You get a ticket, and the more tickets you put in, the more chances you have to win that prize. And then our big auction items, such as the guitar, will be part of our live auctioneering event with Eugene Flynn. Wow. And so we'll get, I think, a bidding war going on for some of these items.
And there's nobody better than Eugene Flynn to do that.
Exactly.
I mean, he's, of course, the former owner of Elysian Cafe and Amanda's and all that good stuff, and a veteran. So, Eugene, thank you for your service. And one of the best auctioneers that we have in town.
Absolutely. Yes.
He really was. Now, I'm assuming that there will be a little smaller prizes, too. Whether they're gift certificates or restaurants and so on.
Absolutely. And that's what we love about this event is that we have so many different levels. So if you're not a big spender, you don't have it, don't worry. We have some great gift certificates to, again, some eateries in town. And some items are even a starting bid at $10. So I feel like there's something for everyone. That's
absolutely fantastic. So let's just go back to, how people can get involved in the home. Make sure you get out there Wednesday, December 14th, over at Birch. Start bidding online, buy tickets, and just have an awesome time. I mean, I'm now planning on going.
Yeah.
I got to open up my schedule. Let's talk about, we spoke about how people get involved, especially during the Thanksgiving holiday. How can people get involved?
Yeah.
More, whether that's, for Thanksgiving into the following Halloween, basically.
Absolutely. And the thing is, every day we need volunteers, like we were saying. 300 meals, you need a lot of volunteers. So if you go to the HobokenShelter.org, you can find a list of items that are needed all the time. We constantly, because of all the meals they're serving, plates, napkins, these are key items that we need for every single meal for hundreds of people. And if you want, you could even go to the Amazon wish list, and then when you buy the item, it is delivered directly to the shelter.
My goodness, so easy.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, and people certainly... There's a lot of good in this world. There's a little bad, but certainly way more good in this world. And I hope that people take you up on that offer. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Is there anything else you want to add? We have a few seconds left about possibly the shelter auction or the shelter just in general.
I think it's so easy to get involved, and it fits everyone's schedule. If you go to charityquest.org, it's an app on CharityQuest. It's an app that you can sign up for a lunch slot. You can sign up for dinner. Every day of the week there are volunteers needed, so you can show up whenever you can. It's everyone's schedule.
Absolutely fantastic. Laura O'Brien, board member at the Hoboken Homeless Shelter. So great having you on. Thank you for all of your service for the most vulnerable population. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, and I hope to see everyone there.
Absolutely. Wednesday, December 14th, as we said.
At Birch.
And Mark, we still love you. I don't know, but Laura can give you a run for your money. So, we'll see what happens. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. All right, folks, we will be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience and therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching the Pulse with Peter B and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, and I am Josh Sotomayor Einstein. I'm so glad to be joined by Steve Lenox, the editor-in-chief of Tap Into Bayonne, Tap Into Jersey City, Tap Into Hoboken. Thank you so much for sparing me, Peter Biancamano, being here with me. I truly appreciate it. How you doing?
Josh, thank you for inviting me, and thank you, Peter, for having me on the show. It's a great pleasure.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a pleasure for me. So tell us about Tap Into, how
Sure.
you got involved in journalism and news media. I mean, I think it's fascinating stuff.
Sure, I'll try to make it quick. I've worked around politics and government for a long time, since about 25 years now. I've run my own business since 2010, my own consulting firm. In 2017, I got the opportunity to purchase my first Tap Into franchise, which was in Paterson. Fell in love with it, found it to be a great way to connect with the community in a very meaningful way. Fast forward a couple years, and the opportunity came along to buy Tap Into Bayonne, which I did. And then 2020, March 1st of 2020, right in the middle of COVID or at the beginning of COVID, we launched Tap Into Hoboken and Tap Into Jersey City.
So I know we'll dive into news and
Sure.
politics, but before we do that, has there been anything that's different covering news and events and politics in all these different towns? Because, Paterson and Hoboken and Jersey City, Bayonne, they're all different news and political ecosystems.
Sure. The communities are very different, and the stories obviously are different. The people differ. But at the end of the day, Josh, I think what is the common thread is that everybody likes to read about their community. Everybody likes to read positive stories about their community. And that's something I really strive to do with Tap Into Hoboken and Paterson and Bayonne. Try to find the good in each of these communities, not dwell on the negative. There's too much negativity in the press. And unfortunately, we can't always avoid it, but we really focus on the great stories, the stories, people like Brianna, who you had on before, young lady who's doing great things in a local business, young children that are doing amazing things that we don't hear about often enough, especially in the Patersons and Jersey Cities of the world. Mm-hmm. There's so much good in each of these communities. Covering Christmas tree lightings like I was at just before I came to sit down with you. That's really our bread and butter to Tap Into.
Well, shifting from the positive to the negative, let's talk politics.
We even try to stay positive with the politics when we can, Josh. We not to take the wind out of your sails here, but we try not to dwell on the negativity, on the fightings. There is so much of that, and I'm convinced, and my reporters are convinced that voters, residents are tired of hearing that. They want to hear solutions. They don't want to constantly be hearing about problems. They don't want to hear about people griping with each other. They don't want to hear about personality conflicts. They want to hear, what are you going to do to make our schools better? What are you going to do to make our community better? And that's really what we try to focus on. We're not afraid of getting into the fray, Josh. I've been around politics a long time. Hudson County politics. I've been, all over the state. So, we know how to handle ourselves in a fight if we need to.
Well, it is a full contact sport,
Absolutely.
As can be journalism from time to time, from what I've seen. Obviously, I'm not a journalist. I never pretend to be a journalist. People out there in TV land and on the interwebs, way too biased for that. But that's why a lot of people are turning away from the news, because, like you said, it's all negative all the time.
Absolutely. We've said a few times, kind of used this analogy, if you wake up every morning and you have a Mountain Dew and a Snickers bar for breakfast, you're not going to have a great day. It's an unhealthy lifestyle. If you wake up and you're reading negativity every day, you're looking at your phone first thing and it's negative story after negative story, it's going to set your day off in a very poor manner. It's going to affect your mental health ultimately. So again, we're trying to find the positive stories that are out there. So hopefully people are waking up and they go to Tap Into Hoboken and they see something nice. They see Santa Claus on 11th Street lighting the Christmas tree, and it makes them feel good about their day and gets them off to a better start.
Okay, well, listen, I started breakfast this morning with leftover Chinese. I had 3 pork fried dumplings and chicken fried rice, and it was delicious. Great way to start
You skipped
your
the Mountain
day
Dew, though, Josh.
while reading Tap Into.
Thank you.
No Mountain
Thank
Dew.
you.
I'm not a gamer in my 20s playing some multiplayer game online. So what's been going on in the news world right now this cycle? We just had elections.
Well, we just had elections, and of course they were national elections. And again, our focus is on the local. But we saw what happened across the country. We saw what some thought was going to be a red wave, and you and I can debate politics all day long probably, and I think that wave really fizzled out. Obviously, Republicans took control of the House, and that wasn't a surprise. The Democrats were able to keep the Senate as of yesterday by 51 seats to 49. I think what's interesting in politics, though, as you said, is a full contact sport. It's also a sport or a game that never ends. So everything that came up through November, the conversation continues the day after, and it leads all into 2023 and ultimately 2024. It's there's no stop, there's no pause when it comes to politics.
And it should be about policy. It should be a battle of ideas. It seemingly never is. It's seemingly always a battle of who can sink the lowest the quickest. But it should be about competing visions on policy and numbers, and unfortunately, very depressingly, it often isn't. But I mean, I think now in Hudson County, we have maybe an interesting race. What's the town that former Congressman Albio Sires is trying to run for mayor? Is going to run for mayor again?
Yep, West New York.
West New York.
Yep.
And I believe a commissioner. What's his name? Cosmo
Cirillo
has said that he's going to run.
Yep. Congressman Siri served there for mayor for a long time. He ascended to the state assembly, did a very admirable job as Speaker of the Assembly for a lot of years, moved on to Congress. I'd say he's done an admirable job in Congress for a lot of years. He decided to retire from that role. Perhaps the politics were too acrimonious for him there. And he decided he wants to come home, and what he said is he wants to come back and serve his community locally. Nothing's ever as easy as that. And Cosmo is a young up and coming guy, very accomplished in his own right, and has decided, I guess, that he's not just going to let the old guard, so to speak, have it back without a fight. And
Yep. Sorry.
No, go on.
Now, a commissioner, for our viewers out there, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is basically like a city council person.
Absolutely.
The way some cities are organized in New Jersey.
Yep. We have various forms of government in New Jersey, commissioner form being one of them, and that's what West New York has. And they'll all run as commissioners, and I believe the tradition is the top vote getter then becomes the mayor.
Oh, and very interesting.
I believe.
Yeah. Don't trust anything we say.
Don't trust anything I
Look
say.
it up on the internet where there's definitely people you can't trust
That's right.
there. So, that's very. Any other races we got going on brewing in Hudson County? And
Of course, in Hudson County, we're going to have a change in county executive. County Executive Tom DeGeese, who served for a lot of years. Again, I use the word admirably. I think he served very well. He's decided to pack it in. He's decided to retire and enjoy life maybe outside of politics a little bit. This is a guy who served as a school teacher and has really done a lot. You see Hudson County parks have improved, and you see what's gone on with the county schools. But there's a gentleman named Craig Guy who served as his chief of staff, who's decided he's going to throw his hat in the ring. And how politics works in Hudson County, typically he'll have some opposition, but Craig Guy should be serving as county executive by January 1st of 2023. 2024, I should say.
In our last minute, moving away from politics, what has been your favorite story since you've been a journalist that was that brought wonderful feelings to you to cover?
There's a lot of great stories. I enjoyed meeting Gabby Giffords, the former congresswoman from Texas. That was a lot of fun and certainly an honor to meet her. I just enjoy being out in the community, though. Yeah, I enjoyed the Christmas tree lighting today. That was fun. I enjoyed the Christmas festival in City Hall the other day. We did a s'mores night in Church Square Park over the summer, and we had several hundred kids come out, and firefighters joined us, and they ate s'mores with us. I love reporting about the library. There's no shortage of great stories that we love to tell and tap into Hoboken.
Well, terrific. In our last couple of seconds, there's anything you'd like to tell people out there in TV land and the interwebs?
Thank you, Josh. I would just say please visit us. We're at tapintohoboken.net. You can sign up for daily free e-news. You can find my email address right there on the website. I'd love to hear from you. If there's things we aren't covering, let us know, and we'd love to cover them.
And I'm definitely going to send him some more op-eds after this. But stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano, back in the host chair and here at the beautiful offices of Hudson River Care Counseling, located at 310 Cedar Lane in Teaneck, New Jersey, and 63A 8th Street in Hoboken, New Jersey. And of course, we are here with the founder and CEO of HRCC, Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis. Dr. Pam, it is always a pleasure to have you on. How are you today?
It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is the holiday seasons. Happy
I was
holidays.
going to say,
to
happy
you.
holidays.
Exactly. Thanksgiving, of course, just passed. I'm still stuffed from it, Dr. Pam.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. All those pies and all that turkey.
Exactly. And of course, we're in full swing here. And normally the holiday season brings trauma to many different people. I'm sure you've seen many walk into through your doors here and in Hoboken. I was wondering if you can possibly explain some of that trauma that people might face. And some
it
stories
starts early in the fall. People sort of, I think, psychological gear up. There's something called, scientifically, we talked about science and religion in a segment that's going to appear in the new year, but scientifically, there's something called seasonal affective disorder, which is about how the light shifts, right? Scientifically, we know that. And some people really are affected by light. And then also the weather's getting colder. Well, this fall, that hasn't been the case so much, but typically it would be in the Northeast. But then really what happens, I think, from like November, even maybe October on, people start really struggling. And I hear this a lot in sessions, like people gearing up, like, oh my gosh, the holidays are coming. They literally do a countdown in their heads. I'm going to be alone. I don't have anyone to celebrate with. And I think the populations that are affected by that are people who have significant trauma, like people have had sexual abuse. They've been cut off from their families. They themselves are substance abusers or have a history of substance abuse. People also have a significant mental health issues where they don't have communities. Then there's that whole subset that we're going to talk about in our January segment about people who have been religiously abused, so they feel like they can't even attend Mass or go to church services for the holidays. So all of that in the mix, and people are really, it always breaks my heart, people who are really, because I'm so big on the holidays myself, people are alone sometimes for the holidays. And even like there's places to go sometimes at a church or a shelter, but it's not the same, right? If you don't have a family to go to, they're good friends.
And of course not. And you're never alone here at Hudson River Care Counseling. I mean, the
Thank
therapist.
you.
No, this is what you're here for. This is what you're an expert in. I'm still trying to find an expertise in something. That's a different story for a different time.
That's not true.
And all of their therapists here are here to listen to you, just in case you do feel that loneliness in the holiday season. And a lot of times, correct me if I'm wrong, but that loneliness can lead to alcoholism or even drug use and so on and so forth.
And suicide.
Oh, goodness
The
gracious.
other things that happen during the holiday, especially in the Christmas, New Year holiday, and we'll get a resurgence, and we always get more intakes in January because there's a higher incidence of suicide attempts. There's a higher incidence of substance abuse. There's a higher incidence of domestic violence. There's a higher incidence of, therefore, domestic violence and child abuse reporting. So we'll get a lot of those. We get an uptick in referrals usually I'd say by the second week of January.
Wow, unbelievable. Dr. Pam, we've now been here, shifting gears a little, for this is like our 7th month or something like that. And we think that every time we come here, I know I learn something new, but it's because of your excellent team here. Just
Very proud of them.
Exactly. Under every good leader, there's a strong backbone, as they say. So. Just as a little bit of a recap for the audience, we spoke about sanctuary healing, which I know we're going to talk about again in January. We spoke about trauma, and you mentioned a little bit more about that.
That's my real area.
Yeah, that's
sanctuary
your
healing,
area.
which is the religious abuse, is a subset of that.
Right. But we also spoke about back to school. We had your daughter on, Rebecca, and Rachel, who's one of your interns here, who was absolutely fabulous. And of course, Thomas Johnson, who's another one of your therapists here. I was just wondering if based on those segments alone, if there's anything that you wanted to add to the audience regarding that realm.
Yeah, I think the young, I'm so happy, I'm so proud. I have young clinicians and they're just so energized. Rachel is an intern, but she doesn't feel like an intern because she's so knowledgeable. She's open about this. So she's the mom of a special needs child and a child on the spectrum, right. And I think that's obviously feeding her energy. She's just great. She probably will stay with us, and she's developing a program. In fact, watch for our website. We're gonna have a group in the fall. She's gonna run a support group for parents of special needs children.
That's unbelievable. HudsonRiverCareandCounseling.com. Absolutely.
And then Thomas, of course, does amazing work with children. He's also been working somewhat with human trafficking survivors. So he does great work with families and children in crisis.
And we can't forget about Yudi. I forgot the wonderful Yudi Sid. Absolutely.
Does work with us, mostly can do therapy in Spanish and in English, but she does a lot of life coaching. She's also a licensed social worker, so she works really attends to the mental health needs in the Spanish community. What else? Fabulous. And we have Rebecca, who is also an intern, but because she's married to a military guy, she's in the process. Keep your eye open for this in the new year. She's going to be developing a program for military families.
Oh, that is fast. And like you mentioned, we're just touching the surface here, and you're going to want to stay tuned in 2023. I can't believe it's 2023. Right? I feel like I'm getting older and older.
Almost 20.
Almost 2023. We're just touching the surface because you're going to want to stay tuned for other segments here at Hudson River Care and Counseling and other services that they provide. And I was wondering, you kind of previewed 2 of them already, but other things that you can preview as well. So
I think, we're doing a lot more groups, I think, in the new year. A couple of my other interns are going to do a group on, this will be virtual, a group on chronic health conditions. And then we're going to do the group, I already mentioned Rachel's going to do the group for parents of special needs children. I think one of my other staff wants to do a group in person. She wants to do it here in Teaneck, wants to do a group for Jewish women who are sort of in that middle age. We're not sure what to call it yet, so we don't have a name for it yet. And then myself and Pastor Mark are still doing the group for religious abuse survivors, which is virtual.
Which you'll meet Pastor Mark in next month, I promise. Yeah. Next year, as they say, right?
Yes, gosh, it's not so far off.
Exactly.
And so that's our group. So of course we continue developing programs here. And I always say this, like, you guys come with me with an idea, let's look at it, and maybe we'll do it. Probably we'll do it.
Yeah, probably we'll do it, exactly. And, Dr. Pam is so accomplished, just in life, and it's important to note, and I actually just learned this after 7 months with you here, Dr. Pam, that you do public speaking engagements, whether at universities or conferences or what have you. And if people want more information on that, where can they get more information? By calling your number and visiting your website?
Yeah, but either one. And I think our office manager you can call her at 201-541-8600, or we have a place where you can sign up for public speaking on our website, which is www.HudsonRiverCareandCounseling.com.
Yeah, well, Dr. Pam, we look forward to seeing what the new year brings. It's, we have a few seconds left, and I just want to say it's really an honor and a pleasure to have you on every month, because the audience at home really appreciates and just a sense of feeling to know that there's a place where you can come for help, and that is right here at Hudson River Care and Counseling. And the weekly reminders, which are a wonderful commercial every week, that you're here for them is just so important.
Oh,
we thank you.
I really am so honored, and I wouldn't have necessarily thought about doing something like this, but it's become a very powerful tool for reaching out to the community.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you so much. Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the founder and CEO here at Hudson River Care and Counseling. Thanks again.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone. Absolutely. Thank you. All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.